Irving Allen, welcome to Not Just Headlines again.
Thank you for having me.
So, you've been active in Greensboro politics and community organizing, and you even run for office before. So, why did you decide to jump into the city council race this time?
This is a seat that I've ran for before. 2017, I ran for city council at large, and I think that council is impactful position, but it's also I think a good position that's attainable. So you can run a race without having to fundraise absorbent amounts of money, and I think that Greensboro is a city that I love, and so I wanted to see how I could, I guess, use the skills that I've learned and the talents through organizing to be more impactful. And I think the council is the right place for that.
And are you from Greensboro?
I am.
All right, what part?
I was born and raised in East Greensboro, with the Lincoln Middle School, Dudley High School, and A&T.
So, how has your past campaign experience approached how you approach this campaign?
So I learned a lot from my first campaign. I think political campaigns are a lot different from the organizing campaigns and issue campaigns that I've run in the past with my organizing work. Just really learning how to flex those muscles and build those skills up to pay more attention to fundraising and reporting, because those are things that you can kind of get around in issue campaigns that are really like base and core things in electoral campaigns. So knowing where to focus and really just knowing how to ask for help and who to ask. And I think those things have really paid off from last time to this time. So, we've raised more money now than we did in our entire last campaign, just due to the focus and a little bit extra know-how.
And what issues do you think are the biggest facing Greensboro right now?
I think Greensboro, much like a lot of places, is facing similar issues like housing, affordability, and really expansion of how we can build an identity so that we can make sure that our residents have upward mobility. And that looks like what industries are we developing, what are we investing in, and what is our identity going to be to the world. And I think that, we have the opportunity to develop that, but we have to start leaning into newer and more creative leadership. I think the median age in Greensboro is 34 years old. The median age of our leadership is much older than that. So I think that we have to pass the torch to younger generations with new and more creative ideas. Not to say that folks aren't creative, but I think that it's time to make way for folks who have grown up in a different generation and can apply those lessons to government and to communicating to the people and building transparency and trust.
And what are some of those new creative ideas that you have?
Well, I think that one thing we have to do is figure out how we can start retaining the talent of our young people who are coming here to get trained at our colleges and universities. So I want to look at ways that we can invest in them, possibly by uh, building some sort of incentive for like housing. If you're graduating from a local college and university, then we need to make sure that you have some sort of incentive, much like we do with our firefighters and police officers, to stay here and to see Greensboro as a home. So that's something that I like to see. I like to see us invest more in our nightlife and our creative culture so that we can build that identity up, because I think that's something that's attractive not only to young folks but to people of all ages. So investing in the arts and expanding those industries and really just putting people first in whatever we do, I think will lead us to making sure that we're attracting people, attracting those young creative ideas, and then building on those things. But we got to start by keeping young people and getting them interested.
Absolutely. So, what would you say to a young voter who doesn't feel like their voice is heard in local politics to actually get them to participate in these elections so you can do the work for them?
Yeah, I think that one, they need to realize that they can run for these offices. It's you don't have to be 35 like president. You
Yes.
can run for office right now. You can also get appointed to boards and commissions and start making the decisions right now. And so I think that if you have an interest in those things or just want to learn about that, even if you don't want to make a career in government or politics, knowing those things and building those skills on that level can give you an upper hand moving forward in whatever path you choose. So get involved right now. I'm going to be looking for folks when I'm elected to put on these councils and commissions that are students, high school, college age, that can give us insight into where we're headed in the future and help us to build something that all of us can be invested in.
And then when you're having conversations with people, whether young or old, what are people saying about Greensboro, whether that's their concerns or what they love about the community, that you really want to bring that perspective onto council?
I think a lot of what I've heard from my peers is that folks are looking to leave Greensboro because they don't see a future here. They don't see upward mobility, and they don't see leadership that is investing in them. And so I want to change that, like not only by speaking about it, but by doing it, by giving people an example of someone who is more relatable and who is connected and interested in having their input involved in government. And I think once we start seeing those changes, and it's not just myself, we've got a slate of folks who have been working in community from across all sectors, organizers and activists and folks who have built community foundations and all type of folks, community organizations. But yeah, so it's folks that are invested and involved, and I think that it's important to have not only one person that's invested in that, but a group of people that are like-minded so that we can help to move the city together.
And there seems to be some neighborhoods who feel historically left out of Greensboro's growth and development, whether that's economically or even with how their roads are getting developed and stuff like that. So, how do you address some concerns from people being like, yes, Greensboro's being developed, but I feel left out of the conversation?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have to acknowledge that it's not just a feeling; it's a reality that places were actually left out, both historically and right now. We are building the type of town that we're experiencing as we go. And I think that not a lot of people pay attention to that because it's piecemealed into different departments and zones and all of these different bureaucratic processes, but all of it works together. And so we have to be aware of the history of what's been done. We have to take serious the concerns of citizens that live in the parts of towns where we know that history exists, and we have to prioritize investing in those towns so that parts of town so they can have the infrastructure needed to develop so that we can have a city that mirrors itself on all sides of town.
And with that, how do you describe your leadership style in taking everything that people say and even having to work with other council members? How are you approaching that with your own leadership style?
I think that throughout my career, I've always tried to build tables where we can come together to build trust, so that we can not only take on the easy things, but have connections when it's time to talk about the hard things. As an organizer, I think that we have to bring those stakeholders to the table, but we also have to have a balanced table that we're bringing folks to. And so I believe in making sure that we are building those balanced tables, having the hard conversations and seeing it through, not pulling away from the table, but staying at the table until we can build consensus and realizing that the one of the values and principles of the city is to be equitable. And so we have to stay at the table and make that a reality, because that's something that we have in our goals as a city. And that doesn't always look like rainbows and sunshine to everyone all the time. But I think that once we make it through those hard times, then we can see that it benefits us all.
And you obviously have a lot of experience in the community and in that kind of environment, but what kind of professional experience are you bringing to council?
So I'm a project manager and a training coordinator in my day-to-day life. But I'm also a manager of a restaurant. So I'm in the service industry in a lot of different ways. And I think that that's what folks want out of leadership is servant leadership. I, from the smallest and toughest jobs to the largest and hardest jobs, I'm not afraid to take those things on. I think that I've also just shown a willingness to stay at the table. I've been organizing and building in this city for almost 15 years. A lot of the issues that I've organized around, we've seen coming up over and over again. So I think that I have experience in working with those issues, both with community and within the government. We've built programs both with the police department and the city government that are in existence today, and they still rely on today. So I want to continue that work and take the resources of the city and make sure that we are spreading them equally across the city. But I also want to invest in rebuilding our neighborhood Congress so that the community can have a vehicle and play a larger role in driving the issues and the resources for government.
And you mentioned some programs. What were those programs?
So the Thrive GSO program, it started off as an expungement clinic in 2016 with Southern Coalition for Social Justice. And that program today run through the Human Rights Department under Dr. Love Crossling. They have expanded to doing tenant landlord mediations as well as expungements for the city, as well as other issues that can be mediated by the city. They take on all of those aspects. We also work with the council in 2013 to start the Teens Downtown program when they were instituting the curfew that happened, and that brought downtown organizations and businesses together to open up safe spaces for youth after that incident, and also brought churches together to help ensure that young folks who did get caught up in those curfews had a safe ride home that wasn't a police car. And so we've built those programs, and also worked in investing in how to grow funding for investing in participatory budgeting. It's a big word,
Yes.
but we worked with them to develop a participatory budgeting program. I was also a part of developing the GCJAC, the Greensboro Criminal Justice Advisory Board, and revamping the PCRB, the Police Citizen Review Board. So I've done extensive work with the city over the last 14 years and built programs that are still in practice today and benefiting citizens. So if and when on council, then I'll be able to continue that work and hopefully improve on it.
Is there one that you have that you're really passionate about?
Um, I think, I guess it would depend on which way you're talking about passionate. I think that the work with the GC Jack is probably the work that I feel has been unfinished, that I haven't had a chance to continue to do. But I'm very proud of the work that we did with Thrive GSO and the way that that program has grown. But I definitely like to continue to work on developing the program for police complaints and how those processes get tracked, and continue to develop that work, because I think it's important right now, and it's an issue that is hot in the community right now, just like it was 10 years ago when I ran, or 7 years, 8 years.
And from your perspective, what does your first 90 days or so look like?
Well, I know that there's an orientation, so a lot of, probably a third of that is going to be just getting oriented into the processes and meeting staff. But I think that the focus will hopefully be on looking to either pass resolutions, if it hasn't been passed, around stopping regulatory stops and adding written consent to traffic stops for the police department. I also want to look into how we can better just better invest in making sure that our MWBE program is setting real standards, and that those standards have teeth, so that the contracts and the money that we're getting out gets placed in equitable hands as far as is concerned with the money that we're spending. The folks that are getting those contracts need to be in and of the city.
And how will residents be able to measure the impact of your goals?
I think that if you're paying attention, I think that we'll be able to measure those things. One, by being involved in the neighborhood Congress that we're going to continue to build up, so that they can have that vehicle not only to hold myself accountable, but to become a part of building the solutions that we're looking to build. So they should make sure that they're getting positions, organizing their neighborhoods, and talking to their friends, so that they can have that vehicle to not only push issues through, but to hold me accountable, and to help to give me the push that I need to be able to convince the other council members that this is the direction that the city wants to go in. So I'll be working in conjunction with the other council members that are elected, but I want to make sure that I'm bringing the community along with me, so that they're there every step of the way. And if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, then they also will have the organized power to be able to reel me in.
And if a young person approached you out on the street and they recognized you and said, why should I give you my vote opposed to, like, I have all these choices, why should I vote for you? What would you say?
Well, I think that I've got a track record. Not only am I the youngest person on the ballot, but I'm also one of the most experienced. This isn't my first campaign. This isn't the first office that I've ran for. But I've also been involved in the politics of the city for over 15 years organizing. So folks know who I am, but I've also learned the processes of the city from the inside, sitting on human relations commissions and working closely with the city to build those department programs in the departments that we just talked about. But I've also worked outside of the government as well, organizing with community, building processes and institutions as well. And so I think that those mixture of talents and experience really give me the ability to be impactful as a council person, and I'm also one of the youngest folks there, so I can dedicate the time and the energy that it'll take to get the issues that we care about done. I'll be there for the long haul and be able to make those investments to stick around, Lord willing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, I appreciate you having me. It's always fun talking to you.
Hi, Lily Bugs. I'm Lily Otis, journalism student and founder of Not Just Headlines. And did you know that 95% of the people who watch our videos aren't even subscribed to the YouTube channel? And if we've helped you at all, we're just asking you to do one thing to support our mission: subscribe, because we want to make sure that everyone is voting local, not just headlines.